Hi guys, I think it's becoming more and more clear why Trump wants to annex Canada. Resources. Now, it's practically impossible for him to carry out such a thing, as the US Constitution, Congress, and the American public are against the idea. But while he did do something of a U-turn on tariffs for Mexico, I believe Agent Orange really wants to punish his northern neighbour. In this clip, the president spoke about lumber, which the US relies heavily upon Canada for. But it seems Trump wants to end that dependency and destroy American forests as a result. Have a listen.
Tariffs, sir, can you walk us through the next steps on this? Steel and aluminum tariffs are due to kick in next week on Canada, Mexico, and every other country. Are those going to be modified as well?
No, those aren't modified. Those are happening next week. And the big one will be on April 2nd when reciprocal tariffs. So if India or China or any of the countries that really, India is a very high tariff nation. I'll tell you what's a high tariff nation is Canada. Canada charges us 250% for our milk product and other product, and a tremendous tariff on lumber and things as such. And yet we don't need their lumber. We have more lumber than they do. We don't need Canada's lumber. So what I'm doing is I'll be signing an executive order freeing up our forests so that we're allowed to take down trees and make a lot of money and then reharvest trees. Also, we're cutting fire divides. A fire divide is a 50-yard to 70-yard swath where the trees can't, it's long enough so trees don't burn forever until you can get them out. And those trees can be sold and made a lot of money with. But we'll be doing that. We don't need trees from Canada. We don't need cars from Canada. We don't need energy from Canada. We don't need anything from Canada. So where we can be self-sustaining, which is in most things. Look, we have more oil and gas than anybody. Our forests are massive forests. We're just not allowed to use them because of the environmental lunatics that stopped us. So I'm going to be freeing that up very shortly so that we don't have to go to other countries to buy lumber. Why should we be buying lumber from other countries, paying tariffs, paying big prices, extraordinary prices, and we have lumber. We have the best lumber.
Okay, so we have to explain this once again because Donald Trump either doesn't understand or is pretending not to understand, which is just basically the same as lying. There's an abundance of preferred wood in Canada and a lack of preferred wood in the United States. So the type of lumber that he's talking about is spruce, pine, and fir. This is used generally in construction. Remember, unlike Europe, a lot of buildings, a lot of houses built in the United States are built with wood, and they use a huge amount of lumber in the construction business. So the United States imports a lot of the timber wood from Canada because that's where most of the wood they use is from. There isn't a huge amount in the United States. And look, Trump also mentioned here, well, we can't access our own because of environmental lunatics. Okay, the United States over the last number of decades has decided to protect parts of the environment, an endangered species, by protecting certain forests. Now, some of the timber is inside those forests, so you have to destroy most of the forest to get to the timber that you need. And that's not very efficient. So it's more efficient, it's cheaper just to import the lumber from Canada. Now, I don't think there's going to be a huge demand for timber and lumber going forward because Donald Trump's economy is crashing. He's determined to crash the economy as much as possible, engage in disaster capitalism, which would, of course, benefit the richest in society. So I don't think we're going to see a huge construction boom. Instead, you're probably going to see the opposite. So there won't be a need for a huge amount of lumber. But once again, like with Brexit and fish, the type of wood or timber that exists in the United States is not really the type that the construction companies want, the construction sector want. They want the stuff that comes from Canada. So if you're restricting your access to the lumber from Canada, you're just making it worse for American businesses. And you're going to drive up prices once again. So you have an economy that's struggling, you have a construction sector that's probably going to go into decline, and it's going to be worsened because, well, timber costs, lumber costs are going to be more expensive. And he wants to destroy the environment at the same time. Let me know in the comment section, guys, what you think. As always, your comments are greatly appreciated. Thanks a lot.